I'ma get it. You know I be on a what? Yeah. You know I be on a what? Man on a mission, I'ma get it. You know I be on a what? Yeah. It's all hard, ain't no fear here. You ain't giving this to all, you steer clear. Never beat, I've been down and I reappear. You got some money on the line, you better put it here. 'Cause I be on the way.
All right. Welcome to the Fantasy Six Pack 2023 Fantasy Football Team Previews. I'm Joe Bond, founder of FantasySixPack.net. With me, doing the Cincinnati Bengals preview, is Mike Bonni. What's up, man?
What up?
All right, so before we get into things, just want to remind everybody to hit that subscribe button, leave those comments. We really appreciate it. And of course, go over to FantasySixPack.net/plans and become an all-access member where you're going to get access to our award-winning fantasy football rankings, our draft cheat sheet, our projections. Then during the season, you'll get access to the DFS data, DFS articles, our betting articles, and then best of all, you get access to us personally on Discord to ask your custom league questions where we can help you win a title. So without further ado, let's jump into our Bengals preview here, and we'll start off with the quarterbacks, and that is led by Mr. Joe Cool, Joe Burrow, and backup Trevor Siemian.
Hell yeah.
Sorry, that made me laugh a little bit. Look, I mean, the Bengals are a good loaded team, man. There's a good passing offense. There's a good offense in general. And Joe Burrow, seemingly kind of, it feels like he starts off really slow, like the last couple of years, but then just
goes nuclear.
Goes crazy, right? So can he finally put it all together and leap into the top 3 here at the end of the season as a fantasy quarterback?
I think he can, which, interestingly, last year he had to deal with T. Higgins being hurt a few weeks. He had to deal with Tyler Boyd missing a few weeks. Jamar Chase missed a few weeks. When they were all healthy from weeks 1 to 7, he was quarterback 3. So it can be done if they're healthy. And plus, he's on an offense where they're going to throw top in the league, maybe top 3 at the worst. He's going to get a lot of red zone attempts. He's going to get a lot of touchdowns. Plus, he can run and get rushing touchdowns. He had 5 last year. So I think sky's the limit for the kid. I don't think he's going to take over Mahomes, but I think he can get top 3 for sure.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing holding him back, right, in this day and age of quarterbacks is the rushing.
Unfortunately,
right?
yeah.
I mean, it's not like he's a zero, though. I mean, he does, he's almost like Roger-esque back in the day, right? He's going to run for a couple of 100 yards. He's savvy with it, man. He'll get some touchdowns. But, that's not what you're drafting him for. Those are kind of bonus points. You're drafting him hoping he's going to get close to 5,000 yards, 4,500 yards probably is.
There's no reason why he can't do what Mahomes is doing. Like, he's got the weapons for it.
Absolutely. 4,500 yards is I think, kind of his floor. I don't see any reason why, if everybody stays healthy and this offense clicks, he can't surpass, get very close to 5,000 yards and 40-ish touchdowns. That will put him right in that mix of QB3. I've got him ranked around QB6. I could flop him in the 5. I could even put him in the 4 territory. I'm clearly drafting Hurts, Allen, Mahomes, in whatever order you want, any one of them ahead of him. The next 3-4 quarterbacks,
I'd take Burrow over Herbert.
Just pick whichever one you want, right? It's Lamar, it's Fields, it's Burrow, it's Herbert. And then I think there's another teardrop and you get into the Lawrence and the Prescott territories, in my opinion. But any one of those 4, fine. They're all good. Burrow,
they all have a chance at being a number 1. Hurts, if he puts it together, gets some more passing touchdowns, can. Burrow obviously can. Josh Allen.
Yeah, they've just got to stay healthy. They've got to put it all together. The offensive line needs to protect, and I think it's possible. So probably the biggest question mark on this team right now, after all the off-season rumors, is the running back room, and Joe Mixon leads the way here with the question marks. Right, there was a lot of rumors he was getting cut. Kind of doubt it happened to this point. We were talking off air just beforehand. Like, at this point, cutting a running back that, might save you like $3 million because he's got dead cap space pretty bad for this team. Doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, unless they're trying to bring in, a couple of these off, these free agent guys who just to maybe build depth, like would they
Which
go
will end
after,
up costing more though, I feel like.
I don't know if it would, right? I mean, I think at this point you bring in a Hunt or a Zeke or a Fournette or a mix of the two, or let's say Cook gets cut. Like those guys aren't going to be able to. Those guys aren't going to be able to sign big contracts. Like they're going to have to. They're going to have to pay. They're going to have to play for cheap, right? This season at least. So could they cut Mixon and bring in some depth? Because right now we're looking at this on the board. It's Joe Mixon. That's fine. Chase Brown, Travion Williams, and Chris Evans. Joe Mixon goes down, they are in trouble.
Those three have a combined maybe 100 rush attempts or less in their career.
It's not
obviously good. One's a rookie, but still.
Yeah, it's not a good situation to be in for running back depth on this team. Chris Evans is not anybody you care about. P. Ryan is now with Denver.
Big loss.
Yeah, it's huge. Like that would have been the guy. Like if you've been able to hang on to him, okay, fine. Let Mixon walk. P. Ryan was significantly cheaper, and that was the way to go. But let's focus back on the Cincinnati Bengals here. Look, Mixon's ADP now still is hovering around 16, 17, 18. Is that a steal at this point, or are you just totally off of this situation? You want nothing to do with him?
Hopefully good news comes that Mixon's clear of like all of his wrongdoings he did and he won't get cut. But at RB17 is kind of insane considering there's no RB competition, which we just went over. Last year, they reduced his workload carry-wise. He only had 220 plus, something like that, compared to 2 years ago where he had like 280. Mm-hmm. And he still finished as, what was it, RB... I can't write it down, damn. But he definitely finished as RB top 10 for sure, still. And that was with a reduced workload. He got more targets than he's ever seen, more catches than he's ever seen. So that's probably what he's going to see going forward. So I can see him falling into the top 12 range still, maybe just outside of it. So I think he's a steal at RB17 for sure.
Yeah, I've got him right around 18. I think it's a pretty fair evaluation for him. I mean, look, the thing that worries me about Mixon is the fact that his yards per carry has never been great.
Bad.
I mean, it's 4.1. Like 2018, man, 4.9 was like, whoo. 4.1, 3.6, 4.1, 3.9 last year. I mean, that's why they reduced his workload. And they've obviously got Burrow. They don't have to lean on the run. His red zone usage is also super scary. It's not good.
I agree.
They just do not use him in the red zone. And that is terrifying as somebody who can't really get a lot going on the ground, elsewhere. He relies on big plays a lot to get him in the end zone. You love to see the receiving work go up.
Yes, that's finally what
last year,
because that's what his thing was for a while in college. It was like he's going to come in, be a really good pass catcher, and all of a sudden it's just like not happening.
Yeah, but I think with the off-field issues and the fact that they've been talking for a while that they're going to cut him. I don't know if they actually do it.
I just don't see him doing it with what they got behind him. It just is.
I would not be one bit surprised if the Bengals are one of those teams that go out and pick up like a cheap Leonard Fournette, right? Somebody who,
although he can't, he's getting like 3.5 yards per carry too, so it's not like he's great either. But I'd go for Kareem Hunt if I was them.
Maybe
he can do what Joe Mixon can.
I wonder if they need to bring in somebody who can kind of carry the rock a little more than Mixon right now.
Yeah.
And so, Mixon can be kind of, because I don't think Zeke's the pass catching back he once was. So it will be interesting to see what goes on here. But let's move over here to the cream of the crop for this team. That is the receivers. We got Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd. And fill it out with Trenton Irwin, Andre Iosivich.
Big get right there. Big guy.
Sure. Charlie Jones. Yeah. So what we really care about, obviously, is Chase, Higgins, and Boyd. Obviously, Chase is going, wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 in most drafts.
Which he should be.
Yeah, absolutely should be. I have no problems with that at all. I don't really think there's much to talk about there. Chase is an absolute bona fide stud. Higgins is where I want to ask you, though. Like, where do you feel safe drafting T. Higgins? Right now, his ADP is hovering around 14. So, that's not, wide receiver 14.
Yeah.
Where do you feel comfortable taking him in the wide receiver ranks here?
Ever since he came in the league, I've been the biggest T. Higgins fan, and I would take him over multiple players and feel bad about it. This year, I'm starting to figure it out that if Jamar Chase can stay healthy the whole year, Higgins is not going to be what we want him to be, because with Chase on the field, Higgins very rarely gets to wide receiver 1 status. He's usually hovering around the wide receiver 23, 24 range because he's not getting the targets. His ADOT is super low for a big wide receiver, which is just baffling to me. It's let me run it back here real quick. 10.7 for T. Higgins at 6'4", 230, whatever he is. That's just mind-boggling to me. They don't use him deep, but whatever. He was 26th in fantasy points per game, 41st in target share with an 18.6%. Not great with those weapons. That makes sense, though. But it's just not looking good for him at wide receiver 14. When you can get Devontae Smith, who gets a 20+% target share, Keenan Allen, DK Metcalf, all those guys I'd take over T. Higgins now. I
kind of disagree, man. I'm a big Higgins fan. I've got him ranked wide receiver 12. I think he's super steady. Ceiling, you're right. Ceiling's a little limited, but I mean, so is it for Devonta Smith. I mean, he's fighting with AJ Brown, man.
Yeah.
But like, I'm looking at the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks of the season here. When he was healthy and even Jamar was healthy. I mean, we're looking at 11, 13, 22. The last couple weeks of the season were pretty blah for him.
I think they just went Jamar Chase heavy.
But Jamar. The whole Buffalo game, was that like the super snowy game or something? Oh no.
No, that was the one that got canceled. That was the one that got canceled.
Yes, so scratch that game.
So basically, their stats are like.
Totally
all those
skewed.
totally skewed for sure, because I totally forgot
I completely forgot about that game.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, then the Baltimore game at the end of the season, it was all Jamar. But there were definitely weeks in there, like week 16. Jamar Chase was 9.9 points. T. Higgins at 22. The week before, Jamar at 15.
Really depends on T. Higgins getting that touchdown. I'm assuming he needs those touchdowns.
8 targets, 9 targets those games.
It's not bad. Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of games up here. I'm looking at week 2, Jamar 9 targets, Higgins 10. Week 3, Jamar 10 targets, Higgins 7. Like
the yards though is the thing though, because Jamar's ADOT, he's getting that target at probably 15 yards instead of T. Higgins is 10, to where it's like he's not getting the extra yardage that Jamar Chase
that is a very valid point. But I think that's why Jamar's going at wide receiver 2.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then Higgins is going 12, 13, 14, maybe 15-ish. But I think Higgins is still a very, very good receiver, and you can definitely draft him.
It's just tough.
And rely on him.
I would like to have Keenan Allen over him, because he'll see more targets. His ADOT's around the same. So I mean, he is the bona fide number 1, I think, at least I would assume.
I am definitely not taking Allen over him. The injury history of Allen.
That team too also is going to be top 5 in pass attempts too.
Just not doing it. And Yeah, I mean, you're right. Air yards, though, last year, per game is 102.5 for Jamar, and it's 70.1 for Higgins. So it is drastically different. But, I mean,
they never are going to be that close, obviously.
They're still
Jamar's
very productive receivers. I mean, he's still seeing an 18 to 20% target share. You're going to take that.
I'd like to see more of that. If he can get into 22s, oof.
Yeah.
Have Jamar at 28, him at 22, drop Tyler Boyd a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right, man, let's finish off here with the tight ends and a little bit of a new tight end room here. So we've got Irv Smith Jr., Devin Asai, and Drew Sample. Quick take here. Irv Smith, can he finally break out? I mean, we've been talking about this forever with him.
Last year we thought he would, but he got hurt. Before he got hurt, he was wide receiver, tight end 20, not great. But in this offense, Hayden Hurst was able to have some pretty good weeks before he started dealing with his health injuries. He was a tight end 11. So I think it's possible Irv Smith can finally reach into the 12 to 15 range. Why not?
Yeah.
It's not like Devin Asai or whatever.
No,
Tampa are going to take much from him.
I mean, I'm not really interested in this. I'm not going after it. Definitely,
why not?
Definitely got to put the little star next to on your waiver wire and be like, yeah, well, let's keep an eye on it.
Yeah, for sure.
But, not going there. So, all right, man. Well, that is it for the Cincinnati Bengals team preview. I want to thank you all for watching and check us out next time. Peace.
See ya.